All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 61 of the Wingin It podcast. The Eagles are 5-0. The offense is finally clicking on some high-octane cylinders thanks to a few Dallas Goedert sightings. The defense is finally showing signs of life thanks to a couple of second-half adjustments. And is there trouble in paradise between Nick Sirianni and Jason Kelce? We're going to get into all of this in the episode, but first, let's roll the clip.
God dog it! You know what time it is! You know what time it is! And you know what underdogs is? It's a hungry dog!
And the second tick away, and the Eagles are alive! Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you! Let the celebration begin!
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to episode 61. We had a game yesterday. The Eagles are 5-0. But first, before we get into any of that, I want to give you a reminder to please drop us a follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram. We're at wingin.it.pod. And please drop us a follow on YouTube. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you're not missing any content from us. Boys, we are 5-0. I don't know about you, but this felt like the most complete game that I've seen so far out of the Eagles this season. And frankly, it wasn't even complete. So I'm pretty excited. Aleks, I'll start off with you. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
Dude, what were my thoughts on the weekend? What an exciting weekend to be a Phillies sports fan. I mean, just to start out, the Philadelphia Phillies knocking off the Atlanta Braves for game one, huge. Rocking the Phillies gear today. We have a game tonight at 6. Can't wait to see that. And then the Eagles going 5-0. Dude, I just got to say it time and time again. Our fans travel like no other. You know, since we've started the Instagram page, we've seen just so many different, levels of fandom. All of the stories have just been so excited to go through. Dude, the NFL gave us 17 home games this year. The fans are just absolutely wild. We just show up. What an exciting time to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, we're spoiled. We are so spoiled, but it's like we deserve it. And we deserve it. And because for example, you look at the Atlanta Stadium during the Phillies game, especially after just watching what Citizens Bank Park looked like the series before. It is the 12th man of Seattle. It is a true home field advantage. And yeah, you go to Atlanta, you see these empty cushioned seats behind home plate throughout the entire game. You see batters on the Phillies with 2 strikes against them, and the crowd isn't reacting at all. And now we go across the country to LA, and I had to kick myself because I'm pretty sure this is an away game. And our fans brought it, as they do every single week. I love being a part of this sports town and this sports community. And this is as good as it gets, man. This is as good as it gets as a sports fan. So let's talk about just talk about all of it. Well, the Eagles,
all right,
at least.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into 2 up, 2 down. Why don't we kick it off?
Aleks and Andrews, 2 up, 2 down.
All right, I am going to kick us off this week. Man, a lot of ups. We have not walked into too many episodes where there have been a lot of ups. But I actually want to take us back right before the halftime, 32 seconds remaining on the clock before we head into halftime. Jalen Hurts throws a deep ball to A.J. Brown. Then there's a horse collar tackle. Then Jalen Hurts underthrows a ball on purpose to get the pass interference called. Ball gets placed at the 1 yard line, tush push in. Here's why that is just so incredibly important to me. There are only a handful of teams that when you think about, hey, 30 seconds isn't enough time, and the Eagles are now going to be on that list. You see that with the Buffalo Bills. You see that with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady made a career of being lethal under 1 minute. Russell Wilson, when he was actually a decent quarterback at one point, Aaron Rodgers as well. We are now joining elite company when you think about explosiveness, when our back is up against the wall and we need to make a big play. That is just such a good indicator that we are just doing the right things and we have the offensive weapons to do it. So That's going to be my first up. Andrew Ali, what do you think about it?
I mean, the one thing that I'll highlight on that specific drive at the end of the game is that 32 seconds is where we started the drive at. If you recall, the first play
It was like
that we
16.
yeah, the first play that we did was a 9-yard run where Jalen Hurts scrambled out of bounds.
Mhm.
And then the second play was an incomplete pass to Devontae Smith. It was 3rd and 1, 17 seconds left before we hit that 58-yard play. I loved the play calling of this game. It truly looked like we were getting back on track.
4 plays, 75 yards. That was hands down the turning point of the game.
Yep.
And I kid you not, I had a lot of fear that Ali's prediction last week was going to come true if it wasn't for that drive. So, Aleks, you hit the nail on the head. That was the drive of the game.
Yeah, I actually posted, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the downs, but I posted on Facebook right before halftime, the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to win this game. The secondary is comically bad, and boy, did I get ripped after the game. I decided to share it, leave it up, and put a whole bunch of clown faces on it, so shout out to all the people on Facebook that wanted me to dress like a clown this episode, but hey, loved seeing it. We'll talk a little bit about the defense. My second up is going to be that this is easily the Jalen Hurts that we know and the best game that he's had this season. Now, I will admit his stat sheet isn't doing him any favors to be any front runner for MVP candidates. I really don't think Jalen really cares that much about it at this point. But this is just so reminiscent of me sitting at the link multiple times this year. And Jalen Hurts comes out, they're throwing the ball 4 times in a row, 3 and out, throwing the ball. Why aren't we running it? This is what happens when that play calling actually works. This is exactly what they drew it up to look like. And although we didn't really establish the run, which, come on, man, you're running up against Aaron Donald. I mean, you have some really difficult, you have a difficult defensive line you're going out. This just looked exactly like how I figured we would have drawled it up. And not only that, Jalen Hurts looked amazing running the ball. He didn't take any hard hits. He ran through some tackles, and he even had some defenders on skates. What a stat line for him to throw for 303 yards and run for 72. Guys, this looked like the Jalen Hurts of last season. 87 points. I think it was 87.8 was the QBR. Not the best rating. Like I said, the stat sheet isn't doing us favors. I actually didn't hate the interception that he threw later in the game. You take those away, I think he had a stellar performance. Best performance of the season. I got to say, man, Ali and I talked really quick on IG Live after the game. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see this again.
Preseason's over, you know? We gave him the first month. We said, Jalen, September, do what you got to do to find your groove back. And here we are. He's playing MVP football.
Yeah, 87.8 QBR is actually a really good one. 50 is average for all NFL quarterbacks. So you get into that upper echelon of above 75, above 80, like you're talking elite level quarterback play there. So no, I completely agree. Jalen had easily his best game of the season, and it wasn't even his best game that we've seen him have. So the sky's the limit for this guy. I'm really excited to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited too.
It's interesting that, your rushing numbers as a quarterback don't go into your QBR, because Matthew Stafford finished with a 92.4 QBR, but only threw for 222 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he didn't help them at all in the run game. So it's kind of interesting how the quarterback position is so much different than it has been in years past because of the mobile quarterback, but that doesn't account into your quarterback rating. Just a thought.
Yeah, I usually think that like 100 is like a baseline for a really good performance, lights out performance. And again, I'm saying stat sheet. I really don't care about the stats. We're 5-0. We won the game and it looked really good. I'm just saying when you start getting into the analytics and you start looking at MVP front runners, they're going to start looking at who has the highest stat sheet on all of it. And like I said, I don't think Jalen Hurts plays, but good call out. Ali.
Right. But I see 300 yards and I, like you, Aleks, I was surprised to see a sub 90 QBR. Yeah, so, agreed. All right, I'm going to hit you with some ups myself. The first drive of the game, it's the first drive of that first half and then the last drive of the first half. That is as good as you can start and end a half as it is not possible to do it any better. Jalen started the game 5 for 5. They're moving the ball. Welcome back, Goedert. Not welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back, Goedert. Hello. 4 for 45 on the first drive. Already put up his best numbers of the season in the first 5 minutes of the football game. It's like we've had this tool in our back pocket, and we were just waiting for the right time to use it. I think we were talking about the really good secondary that, or at least so far through 4 games, the Rams have ranked pretty well in pass defense. And what do? We unleash the tight end. Well done. Well done. That was great to see. My second up is, I just have to speak to the entire second half. That was the best half that we've played the entire year.
0 points. 0 points. The Rams put up 0.
The Rams put up 0 points, and if you include our final drive of the first half, which went 4 for 75, this is what our drives were: 7 plays for 74 yards, 17 plays for 83 yards, 10 plays for 72 yards. Two of those drives ended in field goals. The final drive was 7 for 20, but that's because the Rams had turned the ball over on downs, and we were able to just kind of try to kill some clock at that point. I cannot believe that we went from just letting their wide receivers, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, could do whatever they wanted in the first half of this game, and in the second half, it was a completely different football game. That was the best half of football we've seen. This was the best overall game that we've seen by the Eagles. I know people say we haven't had a convincing win. This win convinced me. So I am so happy.
Yeah, Drew, I think on the subject of Dallas Goedert, there was one play where I was like, oh yeah, here he comes. It was in that first drive when he truck sticked Russ Yeast, the safety for the Rams, and he ran it for like another 8 more yards. I was like, this dude this is his chance right now, right? Like, they are clearly coming into this game with a game plan of getting him the ball, and he is putting on a clinic of why they need to do it more. I loved every bit of offense that went towards Dallas Goedert's way. That dime that Jalen Hurts threw in the second half when he had off his back foot, when he had a defensive end covering him. Like, this dude, it's like he's been yearning for this moment, and he made every bit of it. As far as the second half adjustments for the defense is concerned, guys, I was sitting here, like, I'm not even gonna lie, thinking that Sean Desai was a downgrade from Jonathan Gannon. Not to say that Jonathan Gannon is a good defensive coordinator, but I was contemplating seriously whether or not he was worse. And what I saw yesterday was exactly what we were missing from Jonathan Gannon. Second half adjustments. In the first half, they had Mario Goodrich, Morrow, Eli Ricks covering Cooper Kupp. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right. But then in comes Roby, who didn't have a lot of plays, but his defensive stats were, I think, 2 for 6 and -4 yards. Like, the guy may not have been put up a solid performance, but all signs right now point to me thinking that this was in fact a good move, because we allow our playmakers, Bradbury and Slay, to be on the outsides where they belong.
Yeah, and looking at that Roby play, and I think we probably saw it when he was on Cooper Kupp. They tried throwing the distractions, that bunch formation with some motion, and although Roby wouldn't have gotten there unless it was a perfect throw, he read it the whole entire time. That's the type of veteran presence we need in there on a veteran wide receiver. The only way Cooper Kupp was going to catch it is if Matthew Stafford put it in like a spot that most people won't be able to get most of the time. Like, he had him pretty well covered. So that was really good. I couldn't agree any more with the Dallas Goedert news. I mean, it came out really quick. Again, Ali, that back throw foot to Dallas. I mean, that play just encapsulates the whole entire game. If we had a visual aid on what that game looked like, make sure we drop that clip on the YouTube. Yeah. That is the play of the game, and that's exactly what it looked like. Just so freaking exciting.
It's a great formula when you have an MVP caliber quarterback, and then you just have a handful of weapons that you can go to. I mean, just for honorable mention, I was happy to see how much they used DeAndre Swift in the pass game. He had 6 receptions.
Yep, look great.
I want to see him get those dink and dunk passes and just try to find a block, and he's explosive.
Hey, Kenny Gainwell breaking those tackles was pretty impressive too, man. Lots of really good broken tackles this week.
Low center of gravity, great balance. So this team is loaded with depth and with talent. But I am going to take it into my downs. Yep. Sorry to be a downer, but that's what I was told by the producers that I'm supposed to, AKA Aleks and Ali, that I have to do. So, it was a great day for Dallas Goedert, but it may have come at a cost to Devontae Smith. I think that, we've seen this a little bit last year. It does seem like it can be a little bit game plan dependent. Sometimes there were A.J. Brown weeks. Sometimes there were Devontae Smith weeks. Last week we saw both of them. I think Devontae had like 7 for 76 last week. But ever since the first 2 weeks of the season where he caught Devontae Smith caught touchdowns the first 2 weeks of the season, had 7 for 47 and a touchdown week 1, then 4 for 131 and a touchdown against Minnesota. But since then, he had 4 catches for 28 against Tampa Bay. Like I said, he had 7 for 78 last week, but 1 catch for 6 yards yesterday. He was targeted 5 times. It felt like it took forever for him to finally get targeted. I think it was that final drive of the first half that they he got his first target. So I know that this is not panic at all. Like, I am so confident that he can put up 150 any week that he needs to. And clearly we were looking in other directions, in terms of game plan, which was job well done. So it was another huge AJ week. Obviously Goedert had a big week. Devontae, not so much, but I'm sure that will turn very soon. And I got to be honest, guys. I don't think I've been done with Quez Watkins, but I don't think he's a gamer. I think that the mental things that we've seen in the past with other receivers, namely Jalen Reagor, but it seems like there are these guys that are unable to get out of their own way. So even though it was just like a minuscule, like he caught the one screen pass and he went to the wrong side of the block, he ran out of bounds instead of staying inside where he probably could have gotten the first down. I'm just tired of it, and he was a big reason we lost that game to Washington last year. I'm still salty about that. So I'm disappointed in Quez. I like what he does in terms of being able to provide speed, but I need to see this guy make a game. I need him to be a true difference maker. Actually, I take that back. With the weapons we have, we don't need him to be a true difference maker. But when he does make plays, he can't be hurting the team. And I feel like he hurts the team more than he doesn't when he is on the field. So I guess those are my two. I concentrated on 2 separate wide receivers there. Honorable mention, I don't want to see Kenny Gainwell in the red zone as much as he's been, but sorry if I stole one of yours there, Aleks. But, again,
you did.
Well, perfect. Let me hand it over to you for more on that.
Well, no, I want to hear. I want to hear Ali's thoughts.
Yeah. So as far as Quez is concerned, that play where it was a bubble screen to him, it was like a 3rd and 2, and there was like a parting of the Red Seas between AJ Brown and Devontae Smith throwing blocks, and then he chooses to take it to the outside and run out of bounds. It reminded me of this quote by this like obscure basketball player who played a couple of seasons for the Milwaukee Bucks. His name is Shabazz
Can I guess
Muhammad.
What it is?
Well,
Shabazz Muhammad.
Yeah,
is it? Can you lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink?
Or you can't make them find the hole when 2 of your receivers are blocking. No, it's closed mouths don't get fed, and I'm gonna eat every time I get on the court. When I see that quote and I think about what Dallas Goedert did, that dude was eating when he got to his opportunity. Quez Watkins was out the last couple of games, and he got a couple of opportunities. And it's a trust issue, right? If Jalen is throwing you the ball and realizes that you're not making plays when he throws your way, he's going to start to look to other playmakers. And I'm fine, frankly, if Jalen is looking towards Dallas Goedert versus Quez Watkins. Frankly, I'm fine if he's looking at Zacchaeus over Quez Watkins because they're making plays.
Can I provide any insight to any of that? I'm just joking.
Yeah, go for it.
You guys taking all my talking points. No, you're good. Nothing said.
No. Seriously. What do you got, Aleks?
Yeah, I mean, so I will say on that screen pass, I usually am not this optimistic. I actually yelled, "Oh, sick, first down," and he ended up losing a yard on the play. I have no idea how that happened. I mean, that was just like the most optimal way that you can have that, because I think we have had a lot of screen passes get blown up this year. I agree with your analysis, Ali. If you're not going to be, if he's not going to get the job done, then you look away. And we did see in the second half, Quez Watkins jumping around the end zone because he was wide open. Well, it's like QB1's not really looking your way. It was a bad read by Jalen, though. He should have seen him back there, and that will take me into one of my downs. And then the whole comment with you, Andrew, on Devontae Smith. There's not a lot of big plays I would have taken back to say, I would have liked to see Smitty do that, right? We know Devontae Smith has made big games. He made some really big plays against the Commanders. I know he's walking up and down the sideline. He's upset. Nick Sirianni pulled him to the side and whatnot, but I wouldn't have done anything different last week. I know it looks nice. I know we like the stats. I know Devontae certainly feels that way. I know a lot of people have him in fantasy, but in my opinion, who cares? I don't care if it's A.J. Brown running down the field with 12 seconds left or Devontae Smith. As long as QB1's getting it to the right person, we're there. We're good.
It is crazy that you see Jalen throw for 300 yards and Devontae has one catch for 6. I would never in a million years expect to see that.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, all right, getting into my downs, I did write down Quez Watkins. I think Zacchaeus is certainly a better fit to be in that wide receiver 3 position. I also saw Quez a few times just kind of give up. Jalen Hurts is running down the field. Quez Watkins is right behind him and significantly faster, and he's just jogging, watching him run down. Like, dude, go battle for your quarterback. Go throw a block. Get a body in there. Do something, right? Maybe it wouldn't have made a difference, but he's certainly close enough in some of these plays. Like, I hate seeing that lackluster effort you saw with like Chase Claypool, who's now traded to a different team. Like, I don't want to see that. And Quez, like, we can be back at the Super Bowl this year. We are a contending team. Like, you need to step it up and throw your weight in there. The first one I'm going to go to is the biggest second half adjustment we saw was the defensive line bailing out the secondary. The secondary still looked lost. Yes, there were no points in the second half because Jalen Carter and, dude, Hassan Reddick, man, freaking wrecking ball. Just absolutely love those guys. They're the ones that brought the heat, and it bailed the secondary out. Make no confusion. There were some adjustments made in the secondary, but the secondary still looks lost. We need to make sure that unit is better, and I hope that Nick sees it that way and still says, hey, we need to either address the depth, we need to go get another vet, we need to make sure that we are staying on top of this. There's nothing worse than a convincing win. Other teams see where your weak spots are, and then they expose that the next week, and now we're playing the New York Jets coming off a win against the Broncos. I don't know. We'll get into that.
Thank goodness we're playing the Jets. That's a perfect way to get our confidence back up.
Yeah. Well, and listen, like, Dallas losing again last night is huge. Like, our schedule's about to get really tough, and now we're 2 games ahead of the closest division opponent here. So it's going to get really hard. So we need to get all these wins. I love heading into Dolphins 6-0. Like I said, we'll talk about that later this week. But make no mistake, that secondary is going to have a very tough time slowing down Jalen Waddle. The running back from the Dolphins, what's it? Achine, what's his name? The guy from the Dolphins?
Achan?
Yeah, Achan and Tyreek Hill, okay? That is not the secondary that is going to do a lot of good work against them. So we need to make sure we do that. Second down, I did just add this, is our red zone offense is looking a little bit shaky. We're not always going to have the ball on the 1-yard line. And there were a few times in the red zone that we walked away with the field goal. We did have the 1 turnover on downs. We're not always going to be at the 1-yard line being able to do a tush push, okay? By the way, freaking tush push was unstoppable yesterday. These weren't 4th and inches. This was like 4th and a very long 2. And we're pushing Aaron Donald and everybody out of the way. Absolutely insane.
Nobody can push the tush like we can. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, red zone offense, Quez Watkins, secondary still looks lost. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, no, as far as the tush push is concerned, a couple of weeks ago, I thought that I said that I thought that no one else could do it because no one else had a quarterback who could squat 600 pounds. I take that back. Jalen Hurts was crowd surfing on a couple of those pushes. I was there for it. I loved every bit of it. Aleks, you mentioned the red zone offense. We had 6 trips in the red zone and we only converted twice. And you saw Jason Kelce being super animated on the sideline, really upset with Nick Sirianni, really upset with Jeff Stoutland. Obviously, after the game, he said that he was emotional. I think there were a lot of emotions on the sideline yesterday because we played our standard, and we weren't meeting that standard in the red zone yesterday. So I agree. I think we still have to figure out our red zone issues, because if you keep kicking field goals, you're not going to win a whole lot of games in this league.
Amen.
No more comment.
All right. Well, if you're cool with it, guys, we're gonna.
I do want to let you know.
Yeah.
Just a quick update for you. Damar Hamlin is currently leading in the comeback player of the year. He's currently at minus 175, so you're still looking very strong against my strongest efforts to for him not to win. I have nothing against. I love the guy. He's inspirational. That's probably why he's winning. All right, I talked myself into it. I'm going to put some money on him.
Drew, all you got to do is just see if he's breathing, and he's already come back, right? Like this, it's such an easy award for him to win. Well, guys, thanks for kicking it with us. We're going to be back later again this week to talk about our next matchup with the New York Jets. 5-0 feels amazing. It's the first time in this franchise's history that we are 5-0 in back-to-back seasons. We are witnessing something that's never been done before, and we're all excited to be on the ride for it. Thanks for kicking it with us. This has been Ali, Aleks, Andrew. Go Birds.
Go Birds, go Fightins!